Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN. I'm your host, Marty Burns. Joining me this week, once again from WYLN Sports, Joe Flanagan. We are a week away from college football's beginning and 2 weeks away before the college football season really gets going in earnest. So we're not going to hesitate anymore. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be talking college football next here on Let's Talk Sports.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Buick GMC. If you're in the market for the truck, you better hurry up. They're selling like hotcakes. We have this one here.
That one's sold.
Okay. Or if you're looking for a sport utility, we have a huge selection of GMC, Buick Encore GXs, Buick Enclaves.
That one's sold too.
So don't forget, if you're in the market for a Buick or GMC, come on down to Blaze Alexander Buick GMC in Greater Houston and find out where we take the deals. The other guys won't.
Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. It's spelled different because we are different. Physical is unlike any therapy center you've been to before. If you're tired of living in pain, if you want to move better, overcome an injury or balance disorder, or you just want to improve your strength and conditioning, our highly skilled team of medical experts will help you get back to living the life you enjoy. New mentality, new body, new life. Get physical.
Welcome back to the season finale of Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN. We'll be wrapping up the half-hour shows of Let's Talk Sports, but we'll be continuing till the end of September, early portion of October with the quick clips on 35 News, so you'll be able to see that Monday through Friday now until the end of September, beginning of October. I'm your host, Marty Burns, and joined for our finale is Joe Flanagan from WYLN Sports. We're going to preview college football, Joe, a week away from about 4 or 5 games next Saturday, and then Labor Day weekend. I might not ever leave my couch. Starting with Thursday, there's a whole slew of games Labor Day weekend with the college football season. Let's start talking about the two fan favorites locally, Penn State, Notre Dame. Let's start with the Nittany Lions. I'm really curious to see if Coach Franklin's gotten this offense to meet up with the defense. It seems like the last several years the defense has been carrying Penn State. They had questions last year at quarterback. Do you foresee Penn State finally getting that offense maybe somewhat to the same level as their defense?
Well, you know, one of the things, just reading and doing some research on them, their quarterback depth is a real problem. You know, one or two of their quarterbacks transferred, had some graduation. So, and the other thing that you know, it's very strange to say at Penn State, their O-line wasn't good pass blocking, decent run blocking. But I think they need to get that O-line straightened out. And is Sean Clifford your guy? Is he, you know, he has that build. Is he the guy that you want to be your quarterback? And you said, Marty, going over their schedule, you're going to find out quickly. They're away at Wisconsin the first week of the season.
We're going to find out quick about both of those teams. Their third week, credit them. They don't normally schedule out a conference with some juggernauts. Auburn, they're not ranked in the coaches poll, but they're an SEC team. They're going to be a tough out for them when they come to Happy Valley. Then they get back into the Big Ten schedule and a key stretch in October. We don't know what Indiana is going to be like. They had a great year last year. Can they continue that this year? Then they go to Iowa, which is not an easy task, and Penn State's had some struggles going there. A week off, then Illinois, and then the big game at Ohio State.
Real interesting, Marty. Yeah, you're right. That stretch is going to be crucial. They did squeeze a bye in there after Iowa, though. So going into that Illinois, Ohio State week, there is a bye. You know, the game that, if you look at their schedule, that Ball State game, who was one of the better teams in the MAC, you know, in between two big games, that's one of those, you know, if you know, depending on what happens at Wisconsin, that could be a trap game either way. If you play really well, you don't play very well. That's a tough one. I don't like that game. And again, you said the Ohio State game. You know, that's really going to be the make or break game of their season, October 30th in Columbus.
And then the last 4 of the regular season come November. A lot of people in Michigan very unhappy they weren't in the top 25 of the coaches poll. They get them on the 13th of November. But other than that, you know, you look at November, not a bad schedule for Penn State.
Yeah, no, their juggernaut is early, and then Ohio State, and you never, one of these years, Jim Harbaugh, we've seen it. He'll get that magic and get Michigan playing well that late in the year, and we'll see what happens. Is it going to be this year or not? You don't know.
And of course, we want to remind you that tune into WILN through the season. We have the weekly Penn State show that'll be on throughout the season here on WILN, and you'll get the insights on Penn State football. Let's move to the Golden Dome and Notre Dame. A lot of people are worried about the defense with some of the losses to graduation. I think the defense is going to be fine. Yep. My thinking is, can you replace what is lost on the offensive line? And Ian Book is gone. I know we got a transfer from Wisconsin at Notre Dame. But they got the running game. A lot of key backs that saw a lot of key time and had success. They're back. I think offense, just as we mentioned with Penn State, is going to be the key for Notre Dame.
And Marty, no doubt about it. And, they're going to have to decide on a quarterback relatively soon. And the Cone kid from Wisconsin that came in, does he get the nod early till Drew Pine's ready? You don't know that. But if their offensive line comes through, they do have the running backs, and they have a really good tight end in Michael Mayer that I think they'll have enough there early, but their schedule gets brutal. You know what I mean? You start at Florida State, Toledo, Purdue, and then you go a neutral site game with Wisconsin, and then, the game Cincinnati. Remember, they just poached Marcus Freeman off Cincinnati. Yep. So that's a tough one early on in October too.
And you mentioned Florida State. We've seen a lot of legends in sports pass away. Recently, Bobby Bowden at the age of 91 passing away, longtime coach at Florida State. And you know me, I always worry about the ghosts. Notre Dame going to Florida State to play the first game with Bobby Bowden having passed, that scares me.
Notre Dame struggles in Florida traditionally. They usually don't play well there. And it's primetime Sunday night. Labor Day weekend.
The only game
on, and it'll be real interesting to see how a younger Notre Dame team and Brian Kelly, his big thing, can he go on the road and win against a team that talent-wise they should beat, but tough game on the road.
Right. Florida State traditionally, and especially under Bobby Bowden, was always in the preseason coaches poll. Missing is Michigan. Missing is Florida State. Penn State comes in ranked on the coaches poll of 20. There's like 39 polls that'll go on until you get to the playoff committee, and they put out their rankings, and that's the only rankings that really matter. But
you're right.
Penn State ranked 20th. Notre Dame ranked 7th. Let's talk about the non-power schools. Coastal Carolina at 24. The Ragin' Cajuns of Lafayette at 23. Missing is Boise State. And you always got to wonder about those Broncos on the blue turf. And the other one, BYU. Can they build off of what they did last year? They also lost some talent to graduation. Can BYU continue what they did last year?
They have a real interesting game late in the year. I think they play Southern Cal last game of the year. So that could be a big launching pad for them to get through. And I didn't look at the rest of BYU schedule, so I don't know who they play. But yeah, BYU is one of those teams. And you know what? There's always that team like Coastal Carolina that comes through out of nowhere that, gets hot and wins some football games.
And that opening weekend, I know BYU, I think they're going to play Arizona in Las Vegas. And then they're going to have their rival Utah. They got to get off to a good start against the Pac-12 to get a good start for this season. But some of those opening week games, Joe, are tremendous. I think headlined by the game in Charlotte. Number 2, Clemson. Number 5, Georgia. And you look at their schedules, this could be a big game for whoever wins because they may have a path not only through their season, but to their conference championship.
Especially for Clemson.
Right.
Clemson, this is their game, national television. It's going to be the game. I'm not even going to try his name, Marty.
I wasn't going to try it either.
Their young quarterback. He's ready. Is he ready to go play against that Georgia defense? Which, and apparently, you look at what Georgia does. They just recruit, and they're the team this year that if it all breaks for them, they win this Clemson game. That could be momentum builder for them. That this could be a year where a one-loss SEC team If it's Georgia, because of their quality win, they would beat Clemson, if they would lose Alabama, they could sneak in and be the second SEC team in the playoff.
But looking at Clemson's schedule, other than that Georgia game, the one hiccup I see, because they always come up with that tough game, whether they're good or they're not, October 23rd, Clemson has to go to Pitt.
And Marty, you read my mind. The sleepers at Pitt, you know what I mean? And Pitt's that team. They're veteran quarterback. They play a different style than anybody else. And, it's at Pitt. You never know what you're going to get weather-wise. That's a tough game for Clemson. It'll be interesting to see how the ACC plays out for Clemson. But I agree with you. I think if they get through that, they run the table.
And in Georgia, they have what used to be the world's largest cocktail party in Jacksonville, October 30th, Florida. And Florida's ranked 11th, but you really don't hear a lot about Florida. And if they get by Florida, they get by Clemson.
Right.
The one game I'd look out for, November 13th, we don't know what these teams look like until you see them with your eyes.
Right.
It could be a tough test when they go on the road to Knoxville and take on Tennessee.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in Tennessee. And that, is it Josh Heupel? Is that who's there?
Yeah.
Who's there? That's their coach. Is he going to get that offense rolling? And again, Tennessee's always had some players. They never got the ball rolling, and they always seemed they were pushing that rock uphill, and it never fell into place.
We haven't talked about the preseason number one team in the country, Roll Tide, Alabama. We'll talk about them next.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Skin tags are embarrassing, uncomfortable, and pop up everywhere. Well, now you can put an end to those ugly skin tags and remove them at home with Hempana N-Tag, the revolutionary skin tag remover. Simply brush it on and the skin tags fade away and fall off and stay off while the surrounding area stays nice and smooth. N-Tag works for all skin types and is gentle enough for sensitive areas, including your face and neck. And Hempana N-Tag is enriched with hemp seed oil for added moisture, plus all natural turmeric and aloe. So stop living with ugly, embarrassing skin tags. Get Hempana N-Tag with over 50 applications for only $29.99. But when you order now, you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee, and we'll give you a full money-back guarantee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Order now.
Call 1-800-331-1639. Call or visit getntag.com. So call 1-800-331-1639. Order now.
Go hog wild for Iron Pigs baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports, the season finale here on WILN for the half-hour shows for this season. I'm Marty Burns, joined by WILN Sports' Joe Flanagan, talking college football. And Joey went through that whole segment, and people will say we don't respect them. Sitting at number one again in the preseason poll is Roll Tide Alabama. They got I think it's a test, their opener, neutral site in Atlanta.
Yep.
Miami, preseason ranked number 16. But I sort of think this is more of a game for Miami to see if Miami is there. They keep wanting to be back to the old Miami.
Right.
Well, they got the shot with number one Alabama. Then Alabama gets, I think, a tough one there week 2 against Mercer.
Right.
The one that I think is going to be tough, week 3, September 18th, they're heading to the Swamp to take on Florida.
Yeah, no, and again, Marty, the SEC, again, they do schedule them clunkers, the Mercers, the Woffords, right, that kind of thing. But they play, when they play their schedule, they travel to Florida, to Knoxville, to Texas A&M. You know, they're just tough places to play. And you nailed it on the head when we were talking in between segments. What is their offense going to be like? Is their offense going to be like? I think defensively they just reload. I think they have enough athletes there. Offensively, I mean, you're talking they lost all their production from almost every position,
and even a couple key members of the line as well.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm always a believer someone has to beat them, and either they're all gone.
Absolutely.
Somebody has to go beat them. And until that's said, I think Alabama's still the best team in the country until somebody beats them on the field.
And until they prove that they think they can just keep reloading and reloading and reloading,
right,
and we'll see. But the thing, and we talked about between segments, is these are still kids. And you don't know what happens when the light goes on, when the bright lights are shining on you. I don't think so much playing Miami in a neutral site at Atlanta will get them as frazzled as heading into the Swamp, hot Saturday in September to take on the Gators. How do they react? And I don't think anybody can predict. Right. You know, I think rightfully they're the number one team in the country. Right. But until we see how these kids react, we're not going to know about Alabama.
No, and again, I think defensively they're going to be in every game. Offensively, do they have the star recruits to replace them players? Absolutely, but you don't know if they are going to be that next player.
And other tough games on their schedule. October 9th, they go to College Station to take on Texas A&M. Another game where I don't think it's so much Alabama. Right. Texas A&M is ranked preseason number 6. It's time for Jimbo Fisher to get the Aggies to take that step in the SEC. This is their opportunity, and if they don't get it done in this game, I don't think they get it done this year.
No, and aren't they is their quarterback gone? Is that Kelly Bond gone? So he was a big portion of their offense. So when that's the key. When you're quarterback centric and you lose that offense, that player, it's going to be difficult for you to replace them and go beat Alabama. Right. You know what I mean? Because a lot of those players don't exist. But hey, Jimbo Fisher talked this summer about, hey, it's time for us to step up. With Texas and Oklahoma coming in, that's going to be a very interesting dynamic moving forward with college football.
And other than the SEC championship that could possibly be on Alabama's schedule, November 6th, they host preseason number 13 LSU. A couple of the teams in the top 5, number 3 Oklahoma, number 4 Ohio State. I think they've got tougher schedules than anybody else in the top 5. Right. I'm not sold on Oklahoma and their quarterback.
Me either.
September 18th, they renew the rivalry. You don't know how good Nebraska's going to be, but Nebraska-Oklahoma was always a clash when we were growing up. October 9th, they've got Texas and Dallas. Then in November, their last 2 games, watch out for Iowa State, preseason ranked number 8. They're coming into Norman. And then Bedlam. After you've announced you're leaving to go to the SEC, they're going to Oklahoma State. I don't care what Oklahoma State's record is going to be on that Saturday. They're going to be ready for Oklahoma.
No doubt about it, because they feel like Oklahoma State, if anybody has a gripe, it's Oklahoma State being left out. They felt like they're left at the altar. I want to see Iowa State beat somebody.
Well, that's true, too.
I've heard about Iowa State and neutral field. I want to see them go somewhere and beat somebody.
On the road. Yes. Because they've beaten teams at home.
Yeah.
They haven't, but I mean good teams they've beaten at home. You're right. Go on the road
wanna
and
see
show
them beat
you can beat somebody. Very good point. Ohio State, and we talked about Labor Day weekend, and it starts Thursday, September 2nd. Ohio State's going to a program that I think is definitely on its way up. Ohio State has to be ready when they go to Minnesota.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I mean, Minnesota, again, they're going to have to learn how to win their way. They're not going to get the big flashy recruits. They're going to have to grind wins out.
Yep.
And I think Ohio State's going to have to grind more out this year than you think, because they lost a lot offensively. It'll be very interesting to see which team is more prepared for that game. But hey, that's a game Minnesota, they circled on,
absolutely.
on their schedule.
And then in 9 days, a team that's going to be coming to Columbus looking for respect from the Pac-12 that I don't think gets a lot of respect nationally the last couple of years, talking about Oregon.
They're the team, if you look at it, because I don't think they play USC.
I don't think so.
I think they're out. They don't play USC. So if Oregon wins that game, that's a game for them that ball can start rolling downhill. And, I think it's going to be a year for the Pac-12 to get somebody in the college football playoff. Because I don't know if, besides Oregon, have they been the only team in it? Was Washington in one year?
I think Washington was in 1 year.
But I mean, legitimately, I really think Oregon could be that team this year.
And we talked about them when we were talking about Penn State's schedule. October 23rd, Ohio State goes to Indiana. If Indiana wants to be somebody considered as a football power, that's a game they got to get at home against Ohio State. Then the Buckeyes, as we talked about, welcome Penn State. And can Jim Harbaugh, November 27th, in the Big House, finally beat Ohio State? That's the game, Marty. I mean, to Michigan, no matter what Jim Harbaugh does before that, if they're 11-0 going into that game, if they lose that game, he's still on the hot seat. Yeah. Because that game, that team upstate, they call them, or that, whatever, that other team from wherever is that is their game. That's their rivalry, and Ohio State has just dominated that rivalry. Right. We're going to be back to wrap up the season finale of Let's Talk Sports right after this.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Mazda, Greater Hazleton. Come check this out. It's the season of discovery. 2021 Mazda CX-30s, got them. 2021 Mazda CX-5s, got them too. 2021 Mazda CX-9, got them. 2021 Mazda CX-30 for 0.9% for 63 months. 2021 Mazda CX-5, 0.9% financing for 63 months. Blaze Alexander Mazda Greater Hazleton has inventory. Check them out at blazemazdahazleton.com.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the midday WYLN News update, posted between noon and 2 p.m. Tomorrow's care starts today with Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, your ER partner.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
September 18th is the season kickoff at the Wilsey Center in Hazleton. Opening up the night, legendary vocalist Tony Angelo. And then one of the best party bands around, Ostrich Hat. Their high-energy show contains songs from every genre of popular music. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7. Tickets just $15 each. Get them online, wilseycenter.org, or in person at Boscov's at the Laurel Mall, the Melfi School of Music, the Hazleton Employees Credit Union. Don't miss this awesome kickoff event, September 18th.
Welcome to the castle. Meet me at the Wilsey.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. As I mentioned earlier, this is the season finale for the half-hour show. Let's Talk Sports will still be on 35 News Monday through Friday till the end of September, beginning of October. So you'll get to hear me rant and rave for those coming weeks. But for the half-hour show, I wanted to give out some thanks. And I want to start with all the viewers out there. I know we've had a tremendous viewing audience on our YouTube archive shows, and thank you so much for tuning in. I got to thank Blaze Alexander. They've been a sponsor on the half-hour show, and they're their main sponsor for our news clips Monday through Friday. So Blaze Alexander, thank you so much for believing in our product here at WILN and at WILN Sports. So thank you so much. I want to thank Leanne Davidovich, who came up with the idea of this show and thought highly of me, and thank you for having the confidence in me to do this show. Got to thank the fine folks from WILN News, starting with Julie Stefanovich, Phil Kaufman, Julia Wiegand. Phil and Julia really pump me up probably too much, but thank you for everything you do. And I got to thank Ryan Osachi from our production crew. He's one of the best in the business. He's the one that inserts all the B-roll video and pictures in the show. And we've worked on several projects throughout the years, and Ryan does a great job. Wouldn't make me look as good as he does without his hard work. So Ryan, thank you so much. And I got to thank the guests that have come on. They've taken the time to come on this season and join me. A couple of Zoom guests, Ben May from Pocono Raceway, Mike Ventola from the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Thank you so much. Josh Esposito from Valley West Little League. We talked about the state tournament coming to Valley West, and the team got there to the state tournament, didn't get the outcome they would have liked, but I know Josh's show was very well watched, and thank you to him. Joe Clark from the Hazleton Hall of Fame. Joe Flanagan here is also a member. September 19th, right? Sunday is the 2021 induction ceremony, and it's going to be at Capriotti's. Keep an eye on the Hazleton Standard Speaker for more information as more of the profiles of the different inductees hit the papers, most of them written by Dave Seaman. So take a look at that, and maybe if you could get to Capriotti's, that'd be great. And a couple of athletes that may make it to the Hazleton Hall of Fame one day, a couple of state honorees in basketball, and they happen to be in the same household from Weatherly, Emily and Scotty's Ocean. We had Ryan Petrosky on from Crestwood, quality young people that really got to know. And this gentleman, what else can you say but retiring principal and former head coach at Hazleton Area High School, Rocco Patron. Thank you so much, Coach, for everything we've been through all these years. And then the coaches, Bill Phillips, Mark Atherton, Mary Mushank-Nami, and Ryan Yastrzemski. Thank you so much for coming on, talking about the tough times you had with the pandemic and how your teams got through it. Athletic director from Berwick, Bo Orlando, and I know a lot of people enjoyed hearing his stories from his time in the NFL. And Joe, a gentleman similar in your spot, Eric Moucheron, head girls basketball coach and athletic director at Monoy Area High School. What a great conversation we had. And of course, Joe, you were on both representing MMI and doing these national talks here with us. And you may have regretted that time you told me that if I ever needed anything, just ask.
No worries.
But good luck with your new position at MMI. I'm looking forward to hearing of the day that we get back your first request to televise signed by Joe Flanagan.
Oh, you don't worry. I will be the first one to get it back because we know it's going to snow that day.
Right. So we're not even going to come anyway. Right. So, but best of luck both with the program and the athletic program as well at MMI. Well deserved. I know you'll do a great job.
Thanks, Marty. And it's looking forward to getting back in the gym and having a regular season at MMI. But looking forward to being involved in planning and organizing the rest of the sports at the school.
And once again, thank you to all the guests that have come on. They took time out of their summers to come up and be a guest on our show. Hopefully, it was a chance to enhance their programs and talk about their seasons and various other aspects of sports. So I truly hope that everybody at home enjoyed Let's Talk Sports this season. Hopefully we get a chance to do it again. And as I mentioned, the regular clips will be able to be seen on WILN News Monday through Friday till the end of September, beginning of October. So once again, thank you to everybody. And once again, thank you to our great crew here at WILN. For Joe Flanagan, I'm Marty Burns saying so long for the regular season finale of Let's Talk Sports here on WILN.
You're watching WILN TV 35,